Right then, hello everybody, and welcome to the UK Skype. I'm here with Peter and Gwen, and Pierce is there also, lurking out there in cyberspace. So I welcome you all, and I shall begin by passing the mic over to Peter.
Hello there, everybody. Nice to speak to you again. Just a few dreams to relate. One actually is, in fact, three dreams in a row that I've had, strangely, about my grandfather, who died over 50 years ago, and I've hardly sort of had dreams or anything about him since. And all of a sudden, for some reason, over the last few weeks, I keep getting dreams about him, which is rather curious. The first one I can't really remember much about. There wasn't nothing much happened in it, but he was just sort of there. But the second one, he was in our downstairs front room and just standing there, totally expressionless, not speaking. And I went out the room and shut the door, and then something made me open the door again and come back in again, and he was still standing there just the same. But the third one is slightly more interesting in a way. We were back in my parents' house, where we used to live, obviously before we got married. And there was three of us on this occasion: my grandfather and my father. And they were talking, and not really looking at me. But the odd thing, well, one of the odd things about it was that my grandfather had this beautiful blue suit on. I've never seen him look so smart in life at all. So he was really a sort of a, we might call an artisan. In his, as a younger man, he was a professional gardener, and among other things. Lovely man, always remember, he's always very nice to me, but died when I was about 20, 21. But I never seen him look so smart in life. He got this beautiful three-piece blue suit on, and he was talking to my dad. And the strange thing was, also somewhat out of character, the only thing he said was, he said to my dad, have you got a book on philosophers? And that was it. That was the end of the dream. It seemed rather curious, and I wonder if what Dwayne's thoughts are on that, please.
Yes, hello everybody. It's a new day and you kids are up. Okay, so you've had this before, haven't you, with the idea of grandfather in the dream, right?
No, not really. No, this is to say, until these three dreams, this is the first time I can remember dreaming about him.
Oh, okay. Okay, you haven't. Oh, I thought you had before because kind of remember some of the things that you had done before, but there's a basic idea and a pattern there. So these two experiences last night, two or three experiences last night, all on the same night.
No, they weren't last night. They were spread. I'd say they were spread over. I should think about 5 or 6 weeks. The most recent one was the last one I just mentioned. Was about a week ago. No, I think you may be getting confused about. I've mentioned about my father before. I've had quite a few dreams about my dad, but this is my grandfather. His
Oh,
dad.
okay. Okay, right.
Okay.
Yeah. And so he was talking to him also. So again, it's again, it's paying attention. So he's standing there. There's one part you said he's standing there expressionless. So when a person is, just kind of look at that. When you come into a room and a person is standing expressionless, what does that kind of tell you? What's your reaction to that? In other words, what's your idea when you see a person like that? Someone you know. There's Grandpa and he's expressionless. So what's your idea?
I don't know really. It just seems rather odd. Sort of. I wouldn't go as far as to say he's ignoring me, but on the other hand, I don't know what to make of it really, because as I remember him, as I say, as a young lad, I mean, he was always so kind to me, and always had a smile on his face. You know, he's a bit out of character really.
Okay, again, see, you're relating it to look at how you relate to these experiences, and that is many times to the personal self. So again, if I saw a person like that, expressionless, especially one of the boys, etc., so they're demonstrating something. Do you see that? Without all those ideas you have, you know, they're demonstrating something. What are they demonstrating? Okay. Okay, it's a type of recognition. is what it is. It's not the ideas that you have about the situation. It's a type of recognition. And then the other one, they're talking about a book on philosophy. Okay, so again, if it was your grandfather and your dad talking, your father's not alive still. He's not here still, is he? Or is he?
No, my father's been dead now about 25 years or so. So they've both been dead some considerable time, really.
Right, right. In other words, just keep things simple. So in other words, all these ideas you have about things, you kind of confuse yourself. But I would say because in the suit that Grandpa was wearing, the three-piece suit, okay, would that be a dark blue?
Sort of navy blue, not well, perhaps not even
Right.
dark as that. Sort of
Right.
very bright, sort of darkish blue, but not you know.
Right. Just again, keep it simple. Yes. Okay. See. All right. So I would say that's one of the boys because that's our color, and so they're representing something, and so it could be a rebazar or whatever. And one scene there, he's talking to your dad about a book on philosophy. So see what I'm presenting or what Paul did or whatever. See to people, it looks like a book. It looks like philosophy, doesn't it? And see, it's kind of the soft touch. So again, take a look at the experience again. All right. So it's very simple. So it's part of a recognition for you. The stare thing is, it's just like if you were in a crowd of people and somebody's standing there staring at you. Yes, your little personal self, see, it goes fast forward. It's thinking, okay, why is he staring at me? But then again, look at the reality of it from your real awareness. All right. So there's something going on there. You see? It's a recognition that's taking place. Very subtle. Do you see that?
I'm not completely with you, to be honest, on this one.
Yeah, that's
that bit.
well, no, because it's your personal mind. See, in the experience, your personal mind's in the way. And so when you wake up, you're confused. But it's really about a recognition, okay? You have your own situation with your life. You have your personal ideas. And see, what we're all about is not what the new presentation is about. Yes, we provide ideas. We provide hints to this recognition. That's what it's all about. So when you have these experiences, these are steps for you to recognize something more than you've already known. So for you to do that, to figure this out, okay? So the boys have done that to me many times. There was a group of them one time just staring at me. All they did is stare. I looked at all of them. All they did is stare. So the idea is it's you, okay? Just imagine them saying it's you. Okay, so what does that mean to you?
I don't know really. I mean, are you saying that this wasn't really my granddad when he's in the blue suit? It's one of the guides talking to me dad.
Well, again, see, this is the part that where, you have these ideas about things. You read the books, whatever, you do the new you. And so little by little, you decide to figure it out. Okay, what's going on here according to you and your experience? You decide to figure it out. And this is how you really free yourself from the personal self, you see? See, this is what real freedom's all about. So little by little, you start to recognize what these things mean. So just by simply one of the boys standing there and staring at you, what would you say that meant to you? It's about you. So what would you say that it is? Just take a guess. Anything. What comes to you intuitively? Start off with your intuitive nature instead of looking to your mind. What impression comes to you when you just simply look at that experience? This is how very subtle it is.
I don't know. Perhaps they just look at it in disbelief that they think, oh, that I'm sort of getting interested in this or something. I don't know. That they, you know, that what chance have you got to join us lot, sort of thing. I don't know.
Well, again, that would be something personal. It's not about personal because again, they are looking to your real awareness, and then whatever your personal self decides, that's fine. They're not looking to that. They're looking. It's about recognition. In other words, that's part of the wake up. Okay, so that recognition. So this is why you're here. It's not just to collect knowledge, but it's to recognize what's going on. So this takes you to the next step, you see, and this is where you want to go. Otherwise, you just keep routinely, creating this position for yourself where it's just mentally trying to figure things out. You see, so again, just it's that simple. And then from that one recognition with your real awareness, you can go into a lot more. You see, now it's not that you're going to figure it all out because you have the personal self, but it's interesting how it works. Okay, so this is where we're at. So we provide the first step is provided, but the rest is up to you. And this is where you bring in something more real than what you've ever known, just by a simple experience of that. In other words, again, there's hints going on. So, and the other one is your grandfather and your dad were talking about a book on philosophy, right?
Yeah.
Again, it's a hint, and you're standing there, you're hearing this. Okay, so these are hints. So what do they mean to you? See, this is where now you're the detective. Okay, so if you're a detective and you're seeing this scene, what would a detective do? A detective would start to investigate. Okay, he sees the scene. It's not a murder scene, it's some other kind of scene. But just imagine you're a detective, and so how would you see it from a detective's point of view? Instead of just you, okay, the guy that's married to Gwen and has the son Kevin, you see? See, you can pick any viewpoint you want to figure this out, or you just keep the same viewpoint you've always had, which is Peter. Okay? So you decide how you're going to figure yourself out and life and creation and everything else. So these are like little hints to you, and they lead to a lot more. Do you understand that? Does he understand that, Kevin? Oh, that's Kevin.
He still looks somewhat bewildered.
Okay, so you two have to deal with each other. So anyhow, so the thing is that's how you start this off. Yes, you're going to be bewildered, just like a detective in the movies. It's like, gee, we don't know what happened here. Okay, but you got to. So what do? What does the detective do? Goes home and watches TV and then goes to sleep? No, he starts to, he starts to talk to somebody or whatever, and then he starts to figure it out. You see, starts to figure it out little by little. More so than what he knows, because every time you have these experiences, it's the boys are taking you a little bit more into the unknown to see if you'll see what is there. Okay, so it's kind of like landing on a new planet. Okay, you're all excited to get there. So you're doing this, you're reading the books, you're all excited about it. Now you're all of a sudden you land on the new planet. Okay, so now that you're there and you step off the ship, it's like, okay, you look around, it's like, gee, okay. In your mind, you're kind of thinking, well, where's the restaurants and the gas stations and the drive-thrus? Okay, all of a sudden you realize, well, gee, I'm on another planet. All of a sudden it hits you. What do I do? So it's like that. So I'm kind of prompting you to where, yes, you do have these experiences, but at the same time, you start to bring in something that you recognize from them. So the simple one where he's just standing looking at you, that's rather profound, you see? But you decide what it is. So again, you decide. So look at your relationship with this, with the guidance. Let's just say, okay, that's what the boys are. They're just simply, they're guides. They're there for you. like your parents are there, and like Kevin's, you're the parent of Kevin, etc. So, see, this is all part of taking you through this recognition. It's very important because that's the reality of you. So you start with your intuitive side, which is your etheric body, the intuition. Learn to start looking at invisible impressions to finally recognize your real awareness. And then you bring it into the literal self. Okay? So there's kind of a hint there.
Right, okay.
Yeah, see, all of a sudden now you're in the university level. You're not in high school anymore. See, high school was easy, okay? You figured things out. Oh, yeah, you 2 + 2 is 4, you did a little English, and you didn't like the teacher, so you hung around with your friends, everything was groovy. Now you're university level. If you want to stay there and succeed, you have to pay attention. It's not the same as high school, is it?
Well, I did my accountancy by a correspondence course, actually, so
Well,
perhaps
that's something. Yeah, that's something, but now you're into an endless position. See, it's endless. And plus now you're on planet Earth too, okay? Do you ever consider the fact that you're on a rock floating in black space going where? Where are you going? Do you know where you're going? Are we going to hit a black hole? That's part of the unconsciousness too, that's self-destructing. The planet's self-destructing. It's on a course to self-destruction. That's where you're at. So you only got so much time to figure this out until future lifetimes. So see, there's the hint to recognize that. Again, most people don't even know where they're at. Don't even consider it. See, so again, this experience, I see that very real. We're just simply standing there looking at you. Okay. It could be something like, okay, what are you doing? Okay. Are you paying attention? What are you doing with your life? Something like that. Okay, that's one idea. Now, what would you do with that? Just like when you were a young boy and you were doing something and all of a sudden dad comes into the room and he just stares at you. Okay. According to what does that mean? See? Dad knows. But it's for you to figure out.
Right, okay.
Yeah, one thing can take you your whole life and more. So you decide when you're going to start to figure it out more than what you know. So again, that's just a hint, young man. Go ahead.
Right, I'll have to give this some more thought, I think, to be honest, rather than... If I can just ask you about another dream, is that actually, oddly enough, also concerns the colour blue, although in this case it was more a turquoise colour. Actually, I seems to be in the company of this woman, and she'd got this turquoise sort of top on, and then suddenly there was a flying saucer standing there, and it's exactly the same colour. It was beautiful. Looked literally like a saucer. It didn't have any sort of things sticking out of it or any thing at the top and windows, anything like that, but it like an inverted big saucer, and it was it's beautiful turquoise colour, exactly the same colour as this woman's top she was wearing, and suddenly I found myself in the saucer and was flying out into space, and it was absolutely wonderful. There was no apprehension or sort of sense of abduction or anything like that about it. It was just really pleasant, and I was looking out and seeing all the stars and everything, and then the dream was over. So I don't know what that was about.
Well, you just explained it. It was a fun trip, right? Somebody took you on a trip.
Yeah, it was absolutely, that's it really. It was absolutely wonderful. I didn't know if there was any significance in the colour, but from what you say about the guides being tending to dress in blue, although it was more a turquoise rather than the sort of darker blue. But
well, again, it's not always the same thing. So again, that's where again, when you go to the store, are apples oranges? They're fruit, but they're not the same, are they? They're the same, but they're different. So again, it's like that. So it doesn't mean that. So it means what it means. So again, as you have these experiences, and said that was a fun one. Okay, so you were taken somewhere. It's just that simple. You were taken for a ride. All right. that old expression, etc. But this becomes your adventure. You figure this out, just like in the books when I first experienced Ursula, the mermaid, things like this. I had to figure it out, but you see, I decided to go on the adventure to figure it out. And other things that I do, many things have come in my life, and I look at each one, and I track it down. If it looks like it's workable or whatever, I track it down. And there's so many things with that. So again, it's not that it means something all the time, but you decide, again, this is part of the adventure of life, and the adventure entails whatever you're going to do, just like Indiana Jones in the movies or James Bond. They like the adventure, okay? They don't want to live a regular boring life, but at the same time, through the adventure, they become more aware. Now, look at most people of the world. They just want to settle in. They just want to work their life, cook, sleep, work at what they do, just survive, etc. That's all they want. And they're not really concerned about a whole lot else. They're not concerned about, what really supports them, the earth, what's happening. They don't really care. All they care about is that personal part of themselves, kind of being happy, taking care of themselves. So you went on this adventure. Now, you could write a whole book on that. You see? And as you started to write that down, let's just say you decided to write a book on this one thing. As you started to write that down, guess what? More impressions would come. But then again, you have to deal with your personal self. Your personal self is going to go, oh, gee, well, all of a sudden I kind of see this and whatever. Maybe you're talking to Kevin and giggling, and you go, well, that's just my imagination. I don't know if I'm going to write that, etc. You see? But you do have the impressions. What is life really? Is it the created stuff we see? Is it the experiences that we have? Or is it our real awareness that we don't see, that we are having experiences with, that the personal self doesn't see? You see? So it starts off as a simple trip into outer space with a woman, whatever she looked like, with a top, same color as her spaceship. You ever seen somebody drive a red car down the street? Maybe a gal with a convertible, and she's got a red top on too. She likes red, so she wears a red top while she's driving her red convertible.
All right. Yeah, I suppose I see what you mean. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. See, so again, when you look at the movies or stories or experiences, etc., just take an example of the movies. Movies are basically, when you look at them, they're just one idea. Okay, that becomes the adventure. See, this is where you decide how you're going to wake up, how you're going to live, and what you're going to do with your life while you're right now, or just live a regular life like you always have. You see, and of course, your neighbors and your friends are going to think you're odd and weird, and they're going to stand back from you. And, like they would anybody that's a secret agent or whatever, they kind of wonder what they do. But you decide your life. So you have this cool experience, but again, it's what you make of it and what you see of it, etc. So we have a galactic adventure that's taking place, which has always taken place, because again, the original invaders are reptilians from Orion and other planets, etc. And most people don't know this. They invented the gods and everything like this, all this nonsense, etc. And so we have all these funny things today because people keep agreeing. So this is a consciousness of demise because it's all about control. So you see how things start. You see how the reptilians came here and they wrote the movie. We're in their movie, you see. But they've gotten most people to agree that, no, you can't imagine or think of things more so like we can, so you just have to agree with us. So again, you're getting these little by little through your personal self, but all of a sudden you can just shift. All of a sudden you can one day decide, oh, I'm going to go parachute jumping, okay? And your wife's it's like, oh, she's just going to be beside herself. Are you sure you want to do that? You're going to die. You're not going to come back, etc. But it's like, no, I want to do this. I'm tired of just getting up and drinking coffee every morning. And looking at the newspaper. See, again, it's your adventure. So there you go. You got a little view. Lucky you. See. So again, they're giving you a little view because you stepped up. You've looked at what is being presented here, etc. You're taking the risk little by little, but it's always going to be up to you. At a certain point, they're just going to you're going to get experiences. But again, just like your so-called grandfather looking at you, it's almost like, okay, when are you going to decide to do something more than what you've always done? How about that idea? You see?
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Right. Well, that was all I've got to ask today.